Kidnapped soldier's letter. Surprising opposition to offensive. Suit to strip citizenship. Today is the 7th of Sivan, 5768, June 10th, 2008. I'm Aaron Deutsch, and you are watching Arutz Sheva, Israel National News.
I Love Torah, Sofer Stam by Reb Moshe. Finest quality tefillin, mezuzahs, Sifrei Torah and Megillah, using Kabbalistic kavanas and daily mikveh immersion. Don't settle for less. Visit I Love Torah Sofer Stam today.
A letter written by Corporal Gilad Shalit has been released to the Shalit family. As efforts to free the kidnapped soldier continue, debate is raging on whether to launch a military strike against the Arab-occupied Gaza Strip or cut a deal with the Hamas terror group.
A letter written by kidnapped IDF Corporal Gilad Shalit has been released by the Hamas PA to the soldier's family. The letter was handwritten and has been identified as authentic and recently composed. The government said the letter may be a pressure tactic to forestall military action in Gaza. The letter's delivery came less than a week after Damascus-based Hamas Politburo chief Khalid Mashal claimed Shalit had not yet written to his parents, despite a promise made to former U.S. President Jimmy Carter that a letter would be sent as proof Shalit is alive.
I've spoken to both Shalit's mother and also her father, separate phone calls this morning, and told them you will soon receive a letter from him through the Carter Center office in Ramallah.
In the letter, according to Gilad's father Noam, the young man indicated his health is not good, and he went on to plead his life be spared and efforts be made to secure his release. No further details have been released. The letter was sent to the Carter Center's Ramallah office in accordance with Mashal's promise. The Carter Center delivered the fax note to the Shalit family Monday and said that they would facilitate the delivery of a letter from the Shalits to their son. Noam Shalit said the letter was a sign of life from their son, but it does not indicate progress in obtaining his release. The Hamas terror organization that kidnapped Corporal Shalit and the government of Israel have been conducting negotiations. Hamas is demanding the release of 1,000 terrorists held in Israeli jail in exchange for Shalit. Government officials said that the timing of the release of the Shalit letter is not coincidental, coming as it has on the eve of a Tuesday cabinet meeting in which Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, Defense Minister Ehud Barak, and Foreign Minister Tzipi Livni are to discuss a ceasefire with PA terrorists brokered by Egypt. Officials believe Hamas is trying to thwart a potential large-scale IDF operation in Gaza aimed at halting the barrage of rockets from the Arab-occupied region. IDF Corporal Gilad Shalit has been held captive by Hamas terrorists for 2 years. He was kidnapped from his base in June 2006.
Former MK Azmi Bishara fled Israel after police discovered that the Arab MK was in the employ of the Hezbollah terror group. Now, Danny Danon, head of World Likud, has brought a suit to strip Bishara of his Israeli citizenship and Knesset pension. Shalom, Danny Danon.
Shalom, Aaron.
Now, Danny, can you tell us what exactly are you doing against Bishara?
Last month I found out that, amazingly, former MK Bishara receives pension from the Knesset as we speak, after it was proved that he was a traitor who collaborated with the Hezbollah during the Second Lebanon War. We today submitted to the Supreme Court a lawsuit that requires 3 major things to take place immediately. First of all, we should revoke the Israeli citizenship of Azmi Bishara. As we speak, while he speaks against Israel and makes a living from hatred of Israel, he receives a state pension from the Knesset. And we want to revoke the citizenship of Azmi Bishara and to make sure that the Knesset will not pay him pension 8,000 shekel a month that he's receiving until this very day.
Why do you think the Bagatz, which is well known for their sympathies, will rule in your favor?
Well, we examined it from many aspects. The issue of citizenship, it's a clear cut. The law says that if somebody was not loyal to the country, the Minister of Interior should take his citizenship. So we're actually asking the Supreme Court why the minister is not using the power that the law gave him.
Despite your past differences with Likud chairman Bibi Netanyahu, is the Likud party supporting you?
I think it's not a matter of Likud. I think every citizen or every Zionist who see what happened in Israel with the leadership of the Arab Israelis who, during the last day of independence, chose to march and demonstrate the Nakba Day. It's a matter of Zionism. So I think every Likud supporter he will join us, and we're going to put a petition in our website, worldlikud.com, for the issue, and we're going to get a lot of support for worldwide for people that say enough is enough.
Now, Danny, you've been talking about the Arab leadership, but these are the Arabs who keep getting elected. Isn't it the Arab in the street who feels this way?
I think and I hope that the average Arab Israeli is concerned about education and his parnasa and his well-being. I think the leaders who get elected, instead of using their force and time to make the life of Arab Israelis better in terms of education and welfare, they choose to fight for the Hezbollah, as Bishara did, or to work with Iran or with Syria, and they go to travel to Lebanon. They should put their time for their community. It cannot be that you can enjoy the benefits of being an Israeli citizen and at the same time to work against Israel.
Danny Danon, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
MKFEA Tom of the National Union has come out against launching a ground operation in Arab-occupied Gaza. The reason? Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is unfit to send soldiers into battle. The member of the Knesset's Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee said a prime minister who lacks the confidence of his defense minister is not capable of commanding a major offensive. In response, MKO Hassan of Kadima said a Tom statement hit a new populism record. He who determinedly called for an urgent, swift operation in Gaza is changing his position only because of narrow political considerations that are not synonymous with Israel's safety and the safety of its southern residents. Hassan is a close affiliate of the Prime Minister and also went on to strongly hint that a ground offensive was only a matter of time. On Monday, residents of Roglit were forced to leave their homes as a result of a fire. Approximately 200 members of the community, 15 kilometers west of Jerusalem, were evacuated. Multiple fires struck dozens of other locales as a heat wave swept the country. The Roglit fire started as a brush fire in an open area outside the town. After several hours, firefighters were able to contain the fire. 4 separate firefighting teams were deployed to a second fire outside the port of Ashdod. No injuries were reported. In the north of the country, the Mount Meron Nature Reserve was also hit. More than 300 dunams, 75 acres, of parkland were consumed. The nature preserve near Tzfat is the largest of its kind in Israel. Fires also blazed in 20 other locations in the western Galilee. 7 teams of firefighters contained the flames. Last week, a judge ordered Rivka Mirchik back to prison. She has been incarcerated for more than 2 months for refusing to recognize the authority of the court. Rivka Mirchik was arrested during an eviction from the Shudami outpost in Shomron over 2 months ago. She's the latest in a series of defendants who refuse to recognize the authority of a court which doesn't act under Jewish law. The courts responded by refusing to release her from prison, which goes against precedent for this crime. She is being held in solitary confinement until the end of the judicial proceedings and has been denied visitation and phone rights. Her most recent court appearance was Thursday of last week. On Thursday, Judge Nitza Maimon Shashua of the Kfar Saba Magistrates Court announced her decision sending Mirchik back to prison without announcing the next court date. No formal charges have been filed against the female inmate, who appeared emaciated, observers said. Mirchik's attorney, Visuli, said he plans to file an appeal today in the Petach Tikva District Court. The evidence simply is not sufficient to justify keeping her in prison, he said. Over Saturday, Iran appealed to the United Nations Security Council for protection from Israel after Transportation Minister Shalom Mofaz commented Israel would move to end the nuclear threat if necessary. The former defense minister was quoted in the Hebrew language Yediot Achronot newspaper, saying military action might be necessary in order to stop Iran from achieving nuclear power. Mofaz's words drew criticism and reactions from several angles. Globes reported that American analysts blamed Mofaz's threats for record oil prices, with rates reaching $138 a barrel. Thinking is that his words reminded the oil market of the fear of war in the Middle East. As part of the investigation of former Finance Minister Avram Hirshon, Israel police revealed possible links between Prime Minister Ehud Olmert's former chief assistant, Shilo Zaken, and Hirshon. The police are investigating the possibility that NIS 100,000 was passed between Zaken and Hirshon to fund Hirshon's election war chest in March 2004. During that period, there were neither general or internal party elections, and the sum wasn't reported to the relevant authorities or recorded in party financial ledgers, according to the Israel police. And that wraps up today's newscast. Join us again tomorrow for another edition. Until then, shalom from all of us here at Arutz Sheva, Israel National News.